Lawmakers in Hawaii recently passed legislation that would essentially require so-called pregnancy crisis clinics to educate their clients or their patients about available reproductive health services, including access to contraception and abortion. Now, for those of you who don't know what pregnancy crisis centers are, they are essentially clinics that are not run by medical professionals, but they are made to seem as though they are abortion clinics. So if a woman gets pregnant and wants to seek an abortion, oftentimes she will be misled into thinking these pregnancy crisis clinics will provide those services. But once they walk through those doors, it turns out that these are conservative individuals posing as medical professionals who do anything and everything to dissuade the women from obtaining an abortion. And so it's an ongoing issue in various states, and state lawmakers in these states have decided that they want to do something about it. In Hawaii, they are making it mandatory that contraception and abortion information be shared with these patients. Now, conservatives are not happy about it. They feel that they're being persecuted. So the Alliance Defending Freedom has filed a lawsuit on behalf of one of these pregnancy crisis clinics known as A Place for Women, a church-operated crisis pregnancy center, and 5 other Hawaiian centers affiliated with the National Institute of Family and Life Advocates. So they're saying, you are forcing us to spread a message that we disagree with. So our religious liberty is at stake. But again, keep in mind that they misinform women, okay?
Yes.
They will tell them things like, if you have an abortion, it will increase your risk of breast cancer, which is completely untrue. And they will shame them and just do whatever they can to dissuade them from obtaining an abortion. And it's problematic because of how deceptive they are and how they pose as abortion clinics, and they're not.
Right, this is not a location that's like a church runs a health clinic. Already that is a mischaracterization of these places.
Right.
This is a church runs a place that tries to get women who are thinking about abortions and get them to not have an abortion. Now I get it. If you are religious and you're fundamentally against abortion in all scenarios, I understand your desire to find women who are thinking about abortions and stop them from doing that. Now, if there's a way to do that that is ethical and a way that is not ethical, this is a way that is extremely, terrifyingly unethical. This is a place that lies to you about the dangers of abortions. This is a place that co-locates, they call it. So what they'll do is they'll find a legitimate family clinic, and then next door they'll put up one of these things that looks the same, smells the same, feels the same, but is not, to the point where they so sneakily have been reported to say, all right, we're gonna do the pregnancy test. If you could go pee on that, and then when you come out, you hold it and wait and look to see what the result is, because if the technician held the stick, they could get sued for pretending to be a medical professional. So they say, this is exciting, you hold it. It's just a trap. And Google took their ads down because they did not fit the terms of service, because Google, which is just like, oh, we have terms of service and these violate them. They spend thousands and thousands of dollars a month to put these false ads in front of people who are already going through enough without having the trauma of getting lured into a place that puts out a sign. And you've maybe seen them that say pregnant, scared, pregnant, confused.
Come to us, we're gonna help you. And look, women who unfortunately have an unwanted pregnancy are in a desperate place. And if they are seeking help and they're trying to find a clinic that provides abortion, and then they come across someone who's just gonna shame them if they're even considering it, or use fear tactics against them, I mean, that preys on extremely vulnerable people. So I actually have a solution for this.
Bring it.
Okay.
Hannah has a device to make all well.
I do, and I think this is a fair solution. So I get it, if you're conservative, you don't wanna push any type of information that is scientifically factual or would help women obtain an abortion. I get it. You don't want contraception, you don't want abortions, you don't want any of that. And you don't want to spread that message. You don't want the government to force you to spread that message. So, okay, then you don't have to, okay? Under my solution, you don't have to spread that message, but you have to be incredibly clear about what your organization is. Okay, you can't mislead your patients anymore. You can't share misinformation about what abortion does. You can't pretend to be doctors. You can't pretend to be medical professionals. You can't pretend to be an abortion clinic. That's the way that I would approach it, right? As a lawmaker, okay? You're not allowed to deceive people. You have to be abundantly clear about who you are and what your intentions are. You don't have to share information about abortion, but you also can't pretend like you're an abortion clinic to lure vulnerable people in.
Yeah.
How about that?
It's a shame on you, fie and shame. Because yeah, there's two things. The first one to me is like, how afraid are you? Like the mere, so what we're talking about is that that these abortion clinics do these fake non-abortion clinics that say they're abortion clinics. They're luring people in, and Hawaii is just saying you need to tell them that you're an actual place. You don't need to give them abortions. You do not need to tell them that the place you're telling them about like will make them have an abortion. You just need to say that these places exist. How afraid are you that your argument is that weak that you think the mere mention of another alternative will drive that person there to go get it? Like what a weak position.
Right.
And then you are lying to people because you think you have the moral superiority.
Right.
Like you're trying, you think you people over there are so terrible that we're gonna lie to people.
It's ridiculous.
It's horrible.
Yeah. And again, I think there is a better solution to this. And again, they just need to be clear about who they are. I would want more oversight in terms of the way they represent themselves and the way that they mislead patients.
This is my favorite quote. It's state-sponsored anti-life activists, according to the people making the lawsuit, are so in love with abortion that they want to suppress the free speech right. Nobody's in love with abortion. No one is. That is such a gross mischaracterization.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if they genuinely think that about people who support reproductive rights. But no, yeah, I guess they do. Yeah, there's nothing fun about an abortion. People don't like them. People don't like being put in a situation where they're pregnant with an unwanted baby. It's just not the way it works. It's not an exciting thing. It's not a fun thing, and it's not an easy decision. And you know what? For some women, it is an easy decision because they know they're not ready to have a child. They know they don't have the means to take care of a child, and that's their life and their decision to make. And if you don't like that, then you should move to one of these countries that I'm sure they criticize for violating the rights of women, right? If you like controlling the decisions of women, then move to those countries, right? Isn't that great? Where you have a bunch of randos like shaming you because you've made a decision to not have a baby that you might not have the resources to take care of?
And it would make them trust you more if you, at the beginning, your pregnancy crisis center, like it would make the person in there trust you more if you said, listen, here's where you can go get an abortion tomorrow. Yeah. Here's a place that provides pregnancy counseling as well as pregnancy, support.
Just fucking kick rocks. Just kick rocks. Go find something better to do.
It's rough.
They think that they're like
Hawaii,
moral. They think they're moral. They think that they have that moral superiority, and it drives me absolutely nuts. You're not moral if you shame people and you misinform them about their health. Anyway, you guys should see the movie Magdalene Sisters. It was one of the best movies I've seen. Saw it years ago, and it takes place in Ireland, where these young girls aren't religious enough, and so they're actually persecuted in these ridiculous like Catholic boarding school things. Anyway, it's based on a true story. It's awesome. Those are the people who think they're moral. That's the amazing thing. Torturing and making people miserable because their fairy tales say that that's the right thing to do.
Watch the Young Turks commercial free. Download it or stream it. Watch it any way you like at tytnetwork.com/join.